we're going to lose our ability to go to the doctor someday. And we want to help others for sure. What's the last line of work going to be before Jesus comes?
There you go.
Medical missionary work. That's right. And so knowing some of these procedures will be greatly beneficial. So I'm going to whet your appetite with a couple of them. One of them we use in our family periodically, and I'm just trying to learn a few new ones that I'll share with you. So just to understand a little bit of the underlying principles, I'll go a little bit through that briefly, but I recommend getting some materials. This is an excellent resource, this book called The Natural Remedies Encyclopedia. And this is just packed with all kinds of information, hydrotherapy. It talks about poultices, herbs. The Natural Remedies Encyclopedia. Yeah. It's a very, very good book. The author? Oh, you might be able to find it on Amazon. Did you find yours, BK? On Amazon? Okay. Amazing Facts? Sells it? Okay. If you can't find it, let us know. We can help. Yeah, probably spendy. Yes.
It's pretty comprehensive stuff too.
It's very comprehensive, yes. There's other things too. I have Lisa and Nick Meisner's book on the lost art of natural remedies. They have a booklet. They made a video of a lot of hydrotherapy procedures. This is a great resource too. The last I looked for this, they don't have these DVDs available any longer, but they do have the information, the written information, I think in PDF form right now on a thumb drive. I haven't looked lately, but that's the last time I looked about a year ago. That's how they were selling these online. But you're welcome to look at these things. I'll leave them out here on the table. This is another one that Amazing Discoveries did. This is Lana Drebett's DVD on some practical home remedies. This particular one, she made a couple of concoctions, natural penicillin. She went through the hot foot bath, the hot and cold fomentations, edema wraps, and how to use charcoal.
Who's that?
Lana Drebett. I think it's Mackenzie Drebett's mother. So anyway, this is available through Amazing Discoveries. So did Jesus use hydrotherapy? Does anybody recall?
Well, as a child, that's what my mother used on us boys when
Yeah.
we were sick.
Okay. Nice. Nice. Anyway. Oh, go ahead. Yes. Wash the eyes.
You go wash in the river.
Naaman. That's right. We had Naaman dip in the water 7 times.
Or if you're in snow country, you can build yourself a little sauna. Going to get warm. Go out and roll in the snow, come back in, back and forth. We did that in the UP of Michigan.
Great.
Where there's
That's a nice natural contrast treatment there. That's a good way to go. We have to think of some of those methods. Like what happens during no buy, no sell? We can't make ice cubes. Are we going to be able to get cold enough to do these treatments? I know our water's pretty cold coming right out of the well. Maybe it's just going to be, use that cold water immediately. I don't know, something I mull over sometimes, how to do that. So I'll go through some of this stuff, some of the principles of our blood. it has a tendency to congest or pool in a damaged or infected part of the body. So the result is a clogging up of too much blood in one place. The blood circulation to that part is slowed, and the pooled blood has less ability to nourish and heal. So we need to bring larger quantities of blood to the afflicted areas. We need to move it in and out again more rapidly. We need to loosen up, speed up, and equalize the blood circulation. We do not want it pooling in one area. We want it moving back and forth through the body at a good pace, for this is what keeps the blood healthy, full of fresh oxygen from the lungs, and abundant nourishment from the liver and portal vein. And interestingly enough, as the blood quickens in healthy activity, the bone marrow begins to make more blood than it normally would. So there's the importance of staying active right there. So water therapy can help provide solutions to these situations. It can speed up the circulation of the blood, bring it more powerfully into and out of the afflicted area, and over a period of time, even increase the total amount of blood in the body. Water therapy brings the blood where it is most needed. But when a congestion of blood has occurred, the skillful use of water applications drains away the congestion and brings a refreshing quantity of fresh, newly circulating blood to the area needing it. In addition, there is a peripheral heart factor. The heart itself pumps the blood all over the body, but in the more distant parts, the pumping action of the heart cannot send the blood along very fast. But the blood vessels themselves have the ability to dilate, enlarge, or contract, reduce in size, and thus pump the blood along also. Oh, how wondrously our God has made us. This is called the peripheral circulation. So several of these treatments involve some contrast and use of hot and cold to really stimulate the blood flow to the extremities, as well as centrally over the chest area. Okay, so I'm going to start to show just one initial thing on fomentations. There's several things you want to kind of have on hand for this type of treatment. And I'll be telling you about it as I kind of set it up. So Andrew's getting me some hot water. Did he do that already? Oh my God. Use up hot water. Okay. So I need a volunteer too. If anyone wants to volunteer to be a patient.
I have a sore shoulder. Is it something that would help with that?
Okay.
Oh, actually, no, I don't have anything on it. So.
Oh, okay. She has a little bit of a cough. Okay, we're not going to do the entire thing, but she'll be laying on heat only, but you'll get to kind of go through the things. Would you like to do it? So it won't be a full treatment. It'll just show you the mechanics of it. Let's see here. So when we're setting up the table, sneak behind you. A couple things to consider if you're going to do this on your bed or something at home. You want to have a shower curtain, waterproof shower curtain or something to waterproof your bed. So otherwise it might take a while to dry out. But lay that down and then lay a sheet on top the shower curtain, and then you'll be ready to go. So I have some extra ones around. And then I'm just going to use this, but here'd be a sheet you'd put on top of that. So you'd lay your hot towel inside and just have a cover on it. And then I'd maybe cover this maybe with a thin towel. And so that would be ready to go. But this way for somebody to lay on top of. So when we do the fomentations, they're going to have one underneath them that stays there the whole time. And then the other ones are the ones that get exchanged on the chest area. So this is one way to make a hot pack cover. And then the other way is just to use a second towel. You just have to fold it a little differently. So you get this one wet, and then you lay it inside there, and you'd get that covered up, and you could lay on it. Or wool works very well too, and these I like to use for the top exchanges, but you could use it underneath them as well. You would put your hot towel right inside there, and you could cover it up however you like. Like that. And you'd be good to go. So those are different things, different materials you could choose to have. You could just have a bunch of towels, and that's fine. These older, thinner ones work better to be the ones that get wet, because they're a lot easier to wring out than a big old thick new towel. It's a lot of work wringing it out. So these are nicer, older ones. So we're gonna get, yeah. Oh, they're when you're first getting started, we're gonna lay it there, and then they just lay there for the entire treatment when we do 3 exchanges of the hot and cold to the chest. I'll talk about it when I get there too, but it's 3 minutes to 30 seconds. So yeah, that's coming up, and but this part stays underneath them the whole time, and you just check with the person and ask them, if it's too hot, then you gotta maybe add an extra layer underneath them, or if it's only a hot spot, you might want to stick a little washcloth under the hot spot just to make sure they're not going to get burned or anything. And so we're about ready to get the bottom one ready. So I would probably hold it something like this. So when you're going to use hot water, of course we got this out of the tap just now. That's the easy way, but
Generally, tap water is not hot enough.
This might not be hot. It needs to be near boiling. This needs to be really hot. You want this to be more extreme heat kind of thing. And especially when you're doing the exchanges here, it's going to be brief heat, brief cold, back and forth. So we found in our house during the winter time when our wood stove is running, we put one of these on our wood stove, and it gets it to that boiling point, and then we just dip out of that and use it. So if you want an easy way to heat it up in the winter, just set your pot on your stove if you have a nice flat spot on top of it. If you have a wooden stove, that works pretty nice. Otherwise, if you didn't have a way to heat it up and you don't have power or whatever, you might have to use a rocket stove. Good old fire outdoors to heat it up. So to do this, you're going to hold it on the ends, so you're not going to get the ends wet, just the middle, so you don't burn yourself. So you're going to dip it in there, and then we're going to just start to get it twisted up. So you keep twisting till you get most of that water out of there. Just make sure it's not real drippy. So that's pretty good.
Less likely of a scald hazard.
Yeah, and you just want to move fairly quickly. You don't want it to cool off any too much. So got this under here relatively in the spot. I'm going to cover that up. And then just a thin towel there. And then she can lay down now. It's all ready for Layla.
Yep.
And then, sure, take your boots off. So part of this is, she's little, so she's way up high on that hot pack, but it's okay. Now we stick your legs in here.
Would you do it robed or
No. You'd want, ideally the person would be uncovered basically. You'd be not having any shirt on. So you want it to be right against their skin. And for privacy, you could say, hey, it's ready for you. Just go ahead and lay down and cover yourself with this sheet. And they'd be ready for you. You can come in later. And you'd want a blanket. Yeah, her feet are in the bucket. It's hot water. So you're doing a hot foot bath at the same time, basically. So it shouldn't be scalding, but it should be comfortably warm for her. Are you doing okay so far? And you check in with them. Are your feet too hot? There's no water in there, but okay. So just check in with them. If it's too hot, pour a little cold water in there. And you might need to check this periodically during the treatment. If it starts to cool off, you might actually need to add some more hot water to it. And then, is your back okay? Do you feel the warmth coming through? Yeah? Is it comfy? Yeah? Okay. So check with them, make sure they're not too hot, but it's comfortably warm. Okay, so they're ready to go. Cover them with a nice blanket. This is a nice wool blanket. You want to make sure they are warm the whole time. Be nice and cozy in there. Okay. And then what I would do next, once we got them all situated here, I got to go make another fomentation pad that I'll put right here. And so, let's see, I would use this wool one. Just pretend you're not here. This is a table. I'm going to lay this out for sake of space. I probably won't dip it again, but I would dip it in here, wring it out again, and then we're going to put it inside this wool. And we're going to put it on her right away. Okay. Now this is easier for guys because they can just be uncovered, but if we want to be modest with the person, one way to do it is to, let's see, I'll just be nice and easy about it here. Just get it under like that. Okay, so we're going to lay that on here just so. So that wool is right against her skin, and it's going to be pretty toasty. But right now, being the first one, there's no moisture on the skin typically, but this is going to get her pretty warm. And then 3 minutes. We got a timer, so 3 minutes of the heat. And we just kind of check in. You doing okay? Not too hot. If it's too hot, we can kind of lift it up a little bit. This will help sort of cool it a little bit and just right back down. And then she'll get kind of used to it over time too. Like she's going to build up a tolerance to it each next exchange and the next exchange. She'll get a little more tolerant to it. Feeling okay? Your back's still warm? Is it coming through everything? Can you feel it? I can feel it's warmer there. Okay. All right, so 3 minutes there. Meanwhile, we have a basin of cold water with ice cubes in it and a washcloth or a hand towel. Either one works. And let's say this 3 minutes is over now. Then you can get this all wet, wring it out. And then we can kind of do this little exchange here. This one's coming off while this one's going on. We got the cold thing right on them. We're going to do a little cold mitten friction. Just rub that around. That just makes the cold even more cold. So it's a little more strong of a reaction. So this is just for 30 seconds though. Feel okay? So 30 seconds of that, and off that goes. And then I might say, can you wipe yourself? Okay, we got to get that moisture off. Make sure you're nice and dry. Nice and dry, because when we put that heat back on for the next fomentation, you don't want any moisture on the skin, because the moisture is what causes a burn. So you make sure they're nice and dry. So then I'd make another one. Put that on for 3 minutes again. After the 3 minutes, here we go again. 30 seconds. Rub that in nice and cold. Take that off. Yeah, new one. Yeah, new one every time. And this, if it's staying on the stove and it's staying warm, that's great. If it's cooling off, we might need to get that hotter. Make sure that stays hot, so that each time it's staying hotter. So I tried cheating one time, like just use the same towel each time to save laundry, but it watered this down. It kind of cooled this off too much, and it took longer for it to get hot, the towel, because it was already wet and chilly by the end of the 3 minutes. And so I think it's better to use a fresh towel each time. I think it'd be more effective and help this keep its heat better. So it's just from having tried it that way. Okay, so at the very end now, we've done it 3 times, 3 exchanges of the hot. We end with the cold as the last thing. And then we take that off and dry, make sure they're dry. And then to finish this treatment, oh, I wanted to say too, at the beginning of these kind of treatments, you want to pray over it. Pray over the treatment. You can ask the person, hey, do you mind if I pray for you? And pray for God's healing mechanisms to work for you. And let them decide. Otherwise, you can pray over here by yourself for his healing things to work. So to finish this off, we got to finish off the hot foot bath. And to do that, you take your cold water.
Now, are you doing that when you still have the heat on? Or at what
Yeah,
point?
they still have the heat on the back, but everything's off the front now. Everything's off her front.
Everything's off the front, just heat on the back.
Yeah, she's still laying on the hot pack. And so we would take this, and she'd lift her feet up for me. And I'm going to dump that cold water on her feet. So it's a quick cold. And then we're gonna dry your feet off for her. Okay. That part's done. And then we're gonna sit you back up like this. And you just stay there. And then we gotta take that cold towel and rub her down back here. So as your back's nice and toasty warm. So this is a quick cold to the back part. And then after that, make sure she's nice and dry. And then she should wrap up in nice warm, nice clothes and go lay down for an hour and rest. So she needs to rest. If she's real sweaty feeling, she can go rinse off in the shower a little bit and then go lay down. But the wool I got was, I found an old blanket at the Goodwill and cut it up. But yeah, blankets from the Army surplus store are great too. And you could cut it to the sizes you need. I was going to say the indications for this treatment. You might use this for chest congestion and coughs and colds or flu, bronchitis, pneumonia, asthma, and pleurisy. You can use it healing and improving the function of internal organs, colitis, peptic ulcer, or systemic diseases like lupus, infectious mono influenza, neuralgia, like painful nerves, even just painful muscles and joints due to back injuries or arthritis, difficulty sleeping, nervousness, detoxify the liver or kidneys, like Michael. If you had extreme pain, such as pleurisy or kidney stones, you could omit the cold and just do the heating fomentations.
Or kidney stones.
Kidney stones, pleurisy, or a real painful menstruation. But you don't want to use this for active bleeding or hemorrhage. It says not to use with tuberculosis or heart attacks. And you don't want to use it if someone has a lack of sensation from paralysis or the legs and feet of a diabetic. You maybe want to skip this part, the hot foot bath, and just put a warm hot water bottle there, or just make sure their feet aren't too cold. So just keep the danger away from them possibly burning into hot water that they can't tell. You don't want to use it if you're known to have malignancy, a spread of cancer somewhere. And you don't want to use it if you know you have ulcers. So you want to be careful with children or someone who's well up in years. You want to be careful too, because they're more intolerant to the cold stuff. So the extremes in temperature, you want to be more cautious with them. Besides using a canning, we use this canning thing to just dip the towels in. There's other ways you could do it. We had some of these extra, this is a hydroculator pack right here. This is a brand new one that's never been wet yet. When we first use these, we have to soak them in a bucket for 24 hours to kind of get the water inside, and it becomes clay-like inside, and that really maintains the heat for quite a long time. So this is a moist heat pack. And I have several of these. If I could arrange it just right, I could stick a bunch of these rolled up in here and then not have to wring anything. I just pull one out at a time and bring it over. So it's just another way to do it.
So then you wouldn't need all the towels?
Then you wouldn't need all the towels. But what to do with these? That's the hydroculator pack. But once they're wet, you want to keep them wet though. So I guess there's the only way to get longevity, I heard, is that when you're done using it, you put it in the freezer. And then when you take it out, it'll thaw and you can use it again. But this outer cover is like a canvas and it lasts a really long time. Eventually it'll kind of wear thin, and then if you get a little leakage of clay somewhere, you know it's about toast. It's about ready to be done. But anyway, these are nice because you can just grab the end of it, have this sticking out of the water, and pull it out. So besides using hot water, you know, if you did have power, you could run the microwave, get this damp and put it in the microwave and heat it up that way. I saw someone one time, they got these damp and just rolled them all up, and they had this big Dutch oven thing that would be used to cook a turkey, I guess. And she had all of hers lined up inside that thing and had it plugged in on her kitchen counter, and then just pulled from that. I'm going to show one for do a sinus pack. So this is for treating sinuses. You might have sinus headache with this, to help get some relief from that. So I might need another volunteer. Any other volunteers? Anyone want to try put on a sinus pack? You want to do it? All right. I'm going to leave this part right here. So to do the sinus pack, you actually start with these fomentations. So this one's still there, still a little bit warm. I'll leave it there. So you would prepare this fomentation to go under their back, and then you would actually do 3 sets of hot fomentations, but not the cold. So it's just 3 exchanges of the heat on their chest. That's to keep it warm. Keep it warm. So that would be 3 minutes, and then you'd replace it with another one for 3 minutes, and then a third one for 3 minutes.
With the cold in between?
No cold.
No cold.
So, and then you'd make sure you have some ice cubes or way to get ice. And then we're going to end up with, we need 2 ice packs. I happen to have gotten these kind of ice bags a few years back, which are very handy. So we're going to use 2 of them. One's going to go under the neck and back of the head of the person, and the other one kind of on top of their head. So we're going to keep their back of their head cold, so we're going to help keep their brain a little cooler while we work on their sinuses. Okay, so we're going to go through the sinus pack here. You want to come on up? And
So you're gonna lay.
oh, you lay down, yeah. So I said the wrong thing earlier about the fomentations. I was thinking of the headache one, but the sinus pack's different. And so you want to do the hot cold just like we just did with that first fomentation exchanges, with him laying on the hot pack under him. And then we do the 3 minutes of hot, 30 seconds of the cold. And we're going to do those 3 exchanges again, just like we just talked about. But on the last fomentation, we're going to leave it there. So we're going to leave the heat on him while we then move to the head and do fomentations on his face. So, and he'll be sitting here with the hot foot bath going as well. So we'll put his feet up in here, and we'd have them all covered up.
You're pretty lucky, Dave.
Yeah, if I go to sleep, just nudge me.
Okay. I lost a few of my towels somewhere.
So the feet are in hot water?
The feet are in the hot foot bath. Yep. So they're in the hot water. All right. So we did the fomentations. He's got the heat one on now. His feet are still in the hot foot bath. And then we're going to prepare his head area with these ice packs. So we have ice packs in this one and this one. Thank you. I'll pretend this is filled with ice, but one's going to go under his head, kind of the upper part of his neck and back of his head. I'm going to pull this pillow out a little bit on you there. There we go. And then this other one, it's going to go right against the top of his head. And this is going to, so this kind of sinus thing, the ice is acting like a decongestion for the head. We're going to have our 2 towels here. So one of these is going to protect his face from the heat. So probably use this thin one. It's just maybe nicer not to use wool on the face.
So this
But
is just a sinus-based headache, or
this
it could be
is,
any kind of headache?
yeah, this is more of a sinus thing. Kind of just fold it like this, so he's got his nose opening that way. Okay, so this is the sinus area covering. Now this one, I'm going to take and do the heat, get it all wet with the hot water, wring it out, and then we're going to just do that same fold. I wouldn't fold this right on him, but we are right now.
It's like you're making a paper airplane.
And you're just going to put that hot one on top of that other one. Just like that. The green one's dry. And then we'll put the moist hot one right on top of that. And then we do 3 minutes again. So we got our 3-minute heating up period here. And then,
So for 3 minutes, do you need to put a cover on top of that so it doesn't move through the air?
you can. The instructions don't talk about that, but it's fine if you did. But you just want to make sure they can breathe. And really 3 minutes, it goes by so fast. But so that's it. I would even consider a pillowcase for this inner one, if it be thinner, so they can feel it quicker. And if you want to intensify this cold right here, you can get their hair a little bit wet. That's going to make it colder right there. So the back of the forehead, top of the head. Okay. And now after the 3 minutes, then you would do the third one. But this is a cold one.
Is this
So
help
you,
with sinus drainage as well, or just get rid of the headache?
it's for a sinus attack.
Okay.
So let's say you're just clogged up and it's
So does it help
hurting,
with
and
this it helps the drainage?
yeah, it's kind of stimulating. It's moving the blood back and forth through the sinuses
So
to
it
try
should
to
help drainage.
help drainage. Yeah,
Okay.
help ease it.
Okay.
So 3 minutes of this. This one dipped in the cold water. We're going to fold it the same way. But this one, we're just going to take all of this off. And put that cold one right on him. 30 seconds again.
So in between each hot, you're going to do 30 seconds of cold?
Yeah. Ice pack stays the whole time. Yep. Yeah. So this
Do you use
one's
either a washcloth or a sheet? Which do you prefer on that cold?
like a kitchen towel works pretty good.
Pastry towel. Just great.
Oh, pastry.
Yeah, pastry towel. There is I got one of those. So I have this cotton cloth that I use for, I got it for straining things, but they recommend these kind of things, like for one of the other treatments for a congestive headache. They suggest using this as the layer against your skin, covering the eyes and the ears. That's a different technique, but you could use this um, as the under part for either the ice or the heat. And it's just nice and soft. It's just a cotton, it's a little, it's like a potato sack. What do they call them? Potato towel, flour sack, towel.
Flower sack.
Okay, so you can see this is fairly consuming with the foot bath, the 3 exchanges of fomentations, and then the 3 exchanges for the sinuses, but you're kind of setting the body up for this whole sinus drainage thing. So after the 3rd one, you're ending with the cold, and then you just dry them off. Just make sure they're dry, and then you just take everything off, and then you got to finish the foot bath like we did before. Dump the cold water on their feet and dry it, and then they'd sit up and you'd do the cold mitten friction on their back, make sure they're nice and dry, and then they can go rest again for an hour.
To be aware of new videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to the Preparing for the Time of Trouble channel. For more free videos and downloadable audio podcasts, as well as handouts, go to www.preparingforthetimeoftrouble.com. Topic categories include recordings of live seminar presentations, country living, sustainable gardening, homestead remedies, how to be self-sufficient when the grid goes down, wild edible and medicinal plants, hydrotherapy, and end-time Bible prophecies. To take advantage of these free resources, go to preparingforthetimeoftrouble.com.